Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, Episode 4, where Stella is missing. Where is she? We do not know. We've checked her house. She's not there. She's picked up her jacket. She was there. She made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She's picked up her jacket. Should we go to the cops? We should go to the cops, right? Let's go check on Oscar and Rosalina, though, first. They should be at the old Maxwell place. Yes, the place your oh-so-generous cousin decided was suitable for habitation. Hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. It's a roof over their heads for the time being, or what's left of a roof. After everything they've been through, I can't believe she'd make them stay in a place like that. You don't get far before the sound of growling and desperate hisses grab your attention. You turn to see a ditchling approach a cornered pixel in an alley. He must have slipped out of the library with everyone else last night. The ditchling, distracted from its hunt by your arrival, cranes its neck to face you, its eyes settling on you with alien indifference. In the distance, you hear the furious patter of many feet approaching. You won't be alone for long. Hey, quit it! The words feel meek as they leave your mouth, and the ditchling, unaffected, turns back to its cornered prey. Is there a pipe or something lying around? Maybe we can scare it off. There's no time, I'm grabbing Pixel! Before you can react, a small pack of dogs round the corner. Oh my... holy Jesus. This is not what I was expecting. Before you can react, a small pack of dogs... They pounce on the creature, pulling it from the wall and then taking turns biting and tearing at it until it's ripped to shreds. Holy shit. Their task complete, they saunter towards you. What the... It's Daisy, and Scraps too, the dogs that ran against Mayor Jimmy in the last election. And every other dog in town, all together in some kind of ditchling hunting dog gang. Pixel timidly steps towards you. Pixel, you got out of the library, Oh, you poor cat, come here. Pixel cautiously walks towards your group before clambering into your arms. He has a comfortable heft to him. I guess he likes you more than me. Thanks for keeping him safe, dogs. The pack of dogs scampers off, their work done. What the hell is going on in this town? When the competition for the mayor, which is all dogs, just tears apart a ditchling. Dog politics? Ugh. Okay, Pixel in tow, you and your companions continue on to the old Maxwell place. The old Maxwell place. It was clearly once a mid-century modern home, and undoubtedly quite stylish for the time. But it's been abandoned for unknown decades, and moss and vines choke its exterior, barely concealing cracked walls and dust-clouded glass. Before you can approach, the door opens, and Oscar's head pokes out from the entryway. Hello? Oh, sorry if I startled y'all. The walls here are worn down enough I could hear you coming from a block away. Good morning, Oscar. Just thought we'd stop by to check in. Thank goodness you found Pixel. Rosalina's been beside herself. Oscar's voice is tired. He's had a long night and it shows. His graying face seemingly having aged in the hours since you last saw him. Please come in. At least it's probably not haunted. Yeah, that's a start. Pixel! Rosalina rushes forward, taking Pixel gently from your arms. Hey, Rosalina. Hey, Alexis. Look who we found on the way up here. I was so worried I thought the ghost might have done something to him. Alexis is helping us put her room together. We don't plan on staying here long, but the girls seem to be having fun with it, thank goodness. Even after all they've been through. Yeah, this is kind of cool. There's like this weird intercom thing and a jacuzzi. Maybe you guys could fix up the place. It doesn't seem that run down. It is a lot cooler than I thought it would be. And I've already met a ghost, so if it turns out to be haunted, that's no big deal. Let's see. I kind of wish this menu was slightly larger so you could see more than like 2 to 3 options at a time. Sorry again about the library. There's no need to apologize. It's a building, you're a person. You matter more than a pile of stones. I do kind of wish we could go back for our stuff. Thanks for letting me borrow some of your clothes, Alexis. You can borrow as much as you need. I have plenty of shirts, and you can do laundry at our house, too. Of course, there are some family heirlooms that I'd rather not lose. Portraits of my parents, my father's mining jacket. I don't like the thought of their last living memories being forgotten in there. And the fact that it stole the library from me, too, that one really stings. But what are you gonna do? Have any of you seen Stella? We haven't been able to find her since everyone left the library last night. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you? Just a text last night. I think she's doing some self-reflection. But none of us know where she is. I'm guessing you haven't seen her then. No, I'm afraid not. I haven't exactly been very observant, though, with everything we've been through. I hope she turns up. The way she ran off last night was so unlike her. I feel like it's my fault. I should have done a better job warning her. Dad, you know Stella was super excited to see a ghost. How are you supposed to know it would be too much? None of us did. It's nobody's fault, Mr. Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez? Why was that so hard? I have no explanation. There's no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't even think she knew how she'd react. Also, I don't think everybody expected to become puppets to a storytelling show. And besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that's just not going to be possible. You're only one guy. Oscar. That's what Rosalina's always saying. I suppose I do apologize more than I should. You really do. Now I'm really starting to worry. It sounds like no one in town has seen her. That doesn't mean something bad happened. But it doesn't exactly sound like it's all sunshine and roses for her either. I'm sure she'll be okay, but you should probably get back to looking for her soon. What's going to happen to your career now that the library is closed? That's a good question. I was up all night wondering the same thing. If things stay the way they are right now, it's essentially like the library burned down. The books are inaccessible, the building is unsalvageable. In that scenario, the county would have to put up the money to build a new archive, or we'd have to move someplace where I can work in an existing library, and Scarlet Hollow would lose a valuable public service. Oscar? Oh man, that sucks. Move? So you and Rosalina would leave? But we're not doing that, right, Dad? We're staying here. Is there any way we can just, start over and rebuild a collection? I'm sure folks around town would be willing to pitch in. It would be a lot of work, but that's a possibility. Still, maybe it won't even have to come to that. Y'all aren't traumatized after last night? Do you think you'll have to stay here long term? No, I'll find a way to get the library back in our house with it. I don't care what it takes, I'm not letting that creature get the last laugh. It's all bravado at this point. Not even Oscar believes what he just said. I've been thinking. As far as I'm aware, there was nothing paranormal going on in Scarlet Hollow before, very recently. Now here we are, suddenly surrounded by weird little goblin creatures in the woods, while entire buildings are taken over by supernatural creatures. You think there was an inciting event, right? Sorry, that was Kanika. You think there was an inciting event, right? Like, that's one of the things that's covered in Ghostbusters. The entire idea that, like, a Twinkie is like your typical amount of supernatural activity that should be going on within a city at any given moment. And what they're dealing with is a much, much bigger Twinkie than an average size. So what might have spurred on the oncoming ghosts? I do. That's my thought, too. It was never like this in the Holler before. Something must have happened that kicked off all this magic stuff. Avery stares at you. I mean, it's obvious, right? Things only started happening once Malice got here. Kanika shoots Avery a glare. No, we are not throwing Malice under the bus. What? There's nothing wrong with being a magical catalyst. Sure, there's probably nothing wrong with someone being a magical catalyst, but there's definitely something wrong with saying someone's a magical catalyst. If people get the wrong idea, we're only a couple steps away from the whole town deciding to shaw her. Nobody's going to drag Malice into a witch hunt on my watch. I like to think we've outgrown the days of running people out of town on rails. I'd rather play it safe. Don't worry, it's not like I'm going to run around town telling everyone that Malice magicked a bunch of terrible disasters into existence. But if there's a catalyst for all this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, Malice getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Pearlan died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time she arrived. Not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Pearlan passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. Whatever the cause of this is, there must be some way to put this genie back in the bottle. With any luck. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have ever been any similar events, and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. The town archives are, unfortunately, in the library. I told you putting everything online was important. No one uses paper anymore, Dad. You were right. It'll be my first project if we get the library back. I've learned my lesson. Until then, I'll just have to make do with what I can find online. We'll fill you in on what little we know, so you at least have some place to start. Alright, let's save our game. So we've been finding these weird stone seals. There was one in the cave. There's one that I believe is in Dr. Kelly's house. There was another in your basement. There might be more. These are those carvings you mentioned last night. To think there was something like that under my house all this time, and to think someone must have put it there, but who? This gives me quite a few threads to follow. Thank you, Malice. Malice, didn't you say you felt something similar to the mind seal outside the clinic yesterday? I hope that doesn't mean something weird is about to happen there, too. Oh, losing the library is already a blow, but losing the only doctor's office in town seems like it would be bad. Here's hoping we sort things out before that becomes an issue. I wonder if this could be the work of some sort of cult. You mentioned something like this at the library the other day. If there was a cult in Scarlet Hollow, I feel like I'd know about it. And for all I know, you're all in on it. You, and you, and you. I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. Let's not get all satanic panic just yet. I know it's not like looking unlikely at this point, but having lived in this town all my life, I feel like I would know if there was some cult that ran the place. I've got to agree with Kanika on this one. I feel like I'd have picked up on something. A cult doesn't necessarily have to run the town to have had an impact here. It doesn't even need to be active. From what I gather, those carvings you've been talking about are old, and whoever left them here is probably long gone. I'll see what I can find, you never know. Make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by the ditchlings. The ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces. Yeah, the anguished doughboys. I kinda like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. Like them? Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in the local wildlife? I don't want to get friendly with them or anything, I just think they're kinda interesting. To each their own. Not Pixel, he's the best cat I've ever met. He's like a little dude. How do we know he didn't get infected already? He was out all night, is he gonna be okay? I think some dogs kept him safe. Like a gang of dogs. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we saw it with our own eyes. A gang of dogs? I suppose stranger things have happened, this very week in fact. But we'll make sure he stays safe, right, Rosalina? I'm not letting him out of my sight ever again. That is one happy cat, though. Like, look at this kitty. Look at the kitty. I think there's something in the clinic. There was this door yesterday, and I could feel something pulling me towards it. Right, I'd almost forgotten after everything that happened yesterday. You said there was something that reminded you of the mines, right? I see. I'll dig up what I can on the clinic. There's a lot of history there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something haunting that place as well. You have a friend that lives there, right? Should we tell him that something bad might happen in his house? He might want to stay someplace else for now, if the last few nights are any indication. Yeah, I can shoot Reese a warning text, but I don't know if his mom will let him leave. She's got an iron grip on the poor dude, and she's probably even more a skeptic than I am, or was. Reese mentioned a movie night, right? It's the perfect cover for an investigation. Who knows if that would fly with Dr. Kelly, though. After last night, I'm pretty sure she's not going to let us anywhere near her house. She's the only doctor in town. She can't just ban people from the clinic, right? I don't think so, but hopefully nobody gets sick or hurt enough to justify a visit over the next couple of days. If we're going to investigate the clinic, I think we're going to have to break in. Whoa, that is unexpected coming from you. It's what Stella would do, and she's been 3 for 3 this week when it comes to finding spooky stuff. She's also been 3 for 3 when it comes to finding her way into mortal peril. This is why we have to find her as soon as possible. It shouldn't fall on me to suggest we do something dangerous. I'm terrible at selling it. It's not that I don't think we should figure out what's going on in here. We just need to be cautious about what we do next. We don't want anyone to get attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? Whatever we're doing next, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella, and fast. I agree, we need her brazen energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing. See you around, that's Avery. See you around, Oscar. Let us know what you find. I will. We're going to get the library back, and we're going to figure out how to fix whatever's wrong with this town. Good luck to everybody on that. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? We should go to the cops, right? Are you sure? Nothing against the officers of Scarlet Hollow, but you've met them, right? Do you think it's worth the trouble? As unhelpful as they are, we are dealing with a missing person. That's cop stuff. It's probably going to be more of a formality than anything, but there's no point in not covering all our bases. The police station is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. But you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Bo standing between you and the officer behind the desk. Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Deputy Franklin, sir. She was gonna be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to our family. The Scarlet Hollow police are spread pretty thin at the moment, young man. Any property disputes will have to wait, if indeed there is a dispute to be had. Are you sure it wasn't some animal that took your vegetable? Sir, you know Mr. Tremaine thinks that land belongs to him. He probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't coming to his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something you can do about it? Can you arrest a ghost? Alright, hold on, let's see. Hey, I remember you from yesterday. You're the mayor's security guy. We also met on Monday. I'm a man of many hats, and all of them give me authority over you, so you best watch yourself. Listen up, Franklin. We've got a missing person on our hands. Stella hasn't been seen since yesterday, and last anyone saw, she was in a state of distress. You speak with complete authority in your voice. Franklin's sunglasses are impenetrable, but you can imagine the eyes behind them methodically scanning you like a machine. A missing person. Apologies, Mr. Calloway, but I'm gonna have to handle this first. Deputy Franklin makes his way back to the desk, pulling out a few forms before returning to the front. If one of you could fill these out, please. I can take care of that. Thank you so much for taking this seriously, Mike. I know Stella has a tendency to go on hiking trips, but this feels different. She can't be in her right mind going back out into the woods after what happened to my daddy. I'll be praying for her, and I'll make sure Mama does too. Thanks for taking this seriously. I take everything seriously. Now, is there anything else I can help you with? Doesn't this town have 3 cops? Where are the other 2 at? Haven't you heard? There's a nasty strike going on at the mines. Miss Scarlet's asked us to try and bring the temperature down a bit. And I drew the short straw for being stuck on desk duty. Bring the temperature down? I'm sorry, are Earl and Dennis working for the town, or are they working for Tabitha? I'd rather not get into it right now, Miss Forsyth. Bo, did you manage to find your dad? Bo's stoic expression breaks, and for a moment you can almost see tears forming in his eyes, but he blinks them away. No, I ain't found him. I had to stop looking so I could stay home and guard the farm. There are more of those things every minute, seems like. Do you think they'll go back where they came from soon? I'm personally doing everything I can to send them packing. I'll do my part to help. I'll kick in as many of those nasty little faces as I can, but I don't know how many I can send scampering off. Seems like there's no end to those critters. What's all this about a pumpkin? Julius Tremaine stole Big Betty, and I'm trying to get the police to talk to him. And I've been telling Mr. Calloway that there's no way to prove who the vegetable in question belonged to. If there's no documentation, it's your word against his. The Calloways and the Tremaines have been at this a long time. Some feud from over a century ago split the families, and they've been at it ever since. That seems to be a common theme in Scarlet Hollow, like the Shaws and the Scarlets. What makes you think Julius stole it? He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one on account of he thinks it was planted on his side of the property. He's never been good about the property line, same as every Tremaine that came before him. We get our fair share of calls from Mr. Tremaine as well, not that I'm at liberty to discuss confidential police information. The Calloways and the Tremaines have been at this forever. It's practically a part of the town's foundation at this point. I was hoping we'd get a reprieve from his nonsense after what happened to Daddy, but it don't look like he's willing to give us any time to grieve. You know, Julius is a friend of mine. He's a lot of things, and he's definitely a bit of a curmudgeon, but I've never pegged him as a thief. I don't know Julius ever talked to anybody. Talk is a strong word, but I like to think we have some kind of understanding. Well, I'm sorry for everything that's happened, Bo. I appreciate that, thank you. I'm trying not to let it get to me. Gotta be strong for Mama now that it's just the two of us. You know, Mike, it sounds like Bo has a real case here. It's not just two neighbors getting angry at each other. Property's been stolen. Couldn't you get involved on his behalf just this once after everything's been through? This isn't the first time there's been a theft between the Calloways and the Tremaines. We've heard it all. We know exactly how it'll play out. Trust the police to do the policing, ma'am. Should I be confrontational with the deputy? Somewhat confrontational. I don't know how much investment I really need to put in this missing pumpkin case. Let's remain silent. You remain silent. You know, I haven't seen him since Tuesday. He's usually at the diner every day. Even if he didn't take Big Betty, it might be worth doing a welfare check. Look, kid, I'd like to help, but the sheriff has a standing order to not step foot on the Tremaine homestead. The man loves his booby traps. That's never stopped me. I don't make the rules. You'll have to take it up with Sheriff Hugby. If I may, sir, ain't that a bit cowardly of you? I thought police officers were supposed to be brave. This isn't about courage, Mr. Calloway. This is about public safety, and it's about the sheriff's judgment and authority outweighing my own. Look, I've been to Julius 100 times. I can tag along and make sure nobody gets hurt. Look, I'll pass it along when he gets back, but he has his hands full right now. I can't make any promises. Let's just get going. Kanika hands the completed report back to Deputy Franklin. Thank you, ma'am. I'll get this filed right away. Good luck out there. I hope Miss Richmond is all right and y'all find her soon. Thanks again for taking this seriously, Deputy. Just doing my job. Why won't they just do their jobs? Well, at least we filed a report. Still, I guess finding Stella is going to mostly be up to us. We've got to find out what's been going on with Julius, too. He's been missing from the diner for a few days. It's weird. He usually comes in every single day. Maybe he's preoccupied with ditchlings. I just hope he's okay. One problem at a time. Yeah, where to next? Alright, where to next? We got the diner, the mines with the strike, the church with the pastor, and then Sybil is going to be the next point for plot progression. Let's check out the diner. Good idea. Folks tend to congregate there. Maybe we'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Here's hoping Winnie doesn't try to rope me into clocking in early. The diner is busier than you've ever seen it, in the small booths packed with miners. What's going on? There's a strike up at the mines. They've made the diner their base of operations. Huh, good for them. It's about time something like this happened. When you asked for the morning off, I didn't think you'd be showing up with friends. Sorry, Aunt Winnie, Stella's gone missing and I've been helping these two track her down. You haven't seen her, have you? Don't you apologize, I can't say I have. I've been a little preoccupied. This is great for business. These fellas can have as much free coffee as they can drink if they keep piling in like this. Do you need any help? No, Sal and I can handle this. One of your friends going missing is more important than a busy shift. The miners didn't even notice you enter the diner. Instead of speaking in hushed voices, argue with each other loudly enough for you easily. They argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. I guess the shift schedules are pretty brutal, and I'd like more vacation days. I'd love to be able to see my family around the holidays, and better health benefits would be amazing, but what if she decides to fire all of us?
You're only a year or so into the work, and trust me, the longer it goes on, the more it sucks the life out of you. At first you're just unhappy, but you figure you can weather it till you find something better. A paycheck's a paycheck. Next thing you know, you've lost years of your life to a company that doesn't give a solitary shit about you, that uses up your free second it can suck out of its workers and just pays us just enough to survive, but not so much that he can ever save enough to get the hell out.
Well, we could get fired for this. I really need the paycheck. I can't get fired. And the company housing, that makes a big difference for me.
Right, the company housing! How generous of Tabitha to put you up in a company-owned shack that ain't had maintenance done in decades, taking a big chunk right out of your paycheck that sure as shit ain't going towards property tax and upkeep alone. The company housing that means almost nobody in this whole damn town owns the place they live.
We have numbers on our side, Harrison. After what happened up the other night, damn near everyone is joining the picket line.
She can't afford to lose us all. We have the power here, so long as we are united.
Well, let's save our game. Hey, have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The miners turn towards the doorway, all eyes glaring at you in unison. The YouTuber?
No, we ain't seen her. As you can see, we've got a lot going on today. We'd appreciate it if you didn't butt in.
Harrison's voice drops to a barely audible mumble. I hope she's okay. Alright, yeah, we shouldn't butt in. Let's leave. You turn and leave the diner, Avery and Kanika trailing close behind you. Still no sign of Stella. Let's go check the mines. I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin. I can't say I get it, but it's definitely something she would do. You don't see it. Oh, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, classic dog and cat situation. Come on, I'll drive us. You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before you find yourself outside the Scarlet Mines. Oh, they're the other two cops. Scarlet, more like toilet. Better hours now or none at all. I am unhappy with the treatment I am receiving as a worker in the Scarlet Mine. A wall of bodies, picket signs, and megaphones in hand forms a human barricade around the entrance to the Scarlet Mines. I hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Don't worry, I know those guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'd be chill. Will they be chill talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Well, if Well, if it isn't the boss's cousin. You might have had us fooled the other day, but word gets round fast. Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The YouTuber? I like how that's the introduction that the miners know. She's the one on all the ban from property posters, right? We haven't seen her, and we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. Can't say we'll be much help, though. We'll just be standing around here for the foreseeable future. Alright, let's just go. Okay, they haven't seen Stella. Let's just go. If that means we don't have to talk to Tabitha, that's fine by me. I guess that's it for the mines. Come on, I'll drive us back to town and we can figure out our next move from there. Where to next? We should go check out the church. The church? Why? I can see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're there, though. Seems like a good idea to cover our bases at this point. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. That's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? Oh, my. 4 visitors at once? On a Thursday? This is unprecedented. But there are only 3 of us. Oh no, were we followed by Ditchling? Were we followed by Wayne? Sup, old people? Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I had had in the past 2 days had forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart, but when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night, and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hoped maybe you or Janie had seen her. I can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I have seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though Malice, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. Sure, what's up? I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. I'm so glad you decided to come up to visit me. So many young people these days seem to think they can solve all their problems on their own. Meanwhile, God is right there, ready to help them, if only they'd let him into their hearts. The pastor's eyes dart back towards the alpacas. Okay, good, they're gone. You're new in town. What kind of impression did I make on you? Am I creepy? I think you care too much about what people think of you. If you want people to like you, you have to not care about whether they like you. That's a harsh truth. That's a harsh truth you're slinging at me. It wasn't always like this, you know, believe it or not. Before I moved to Scarlet Hollow, I used to be pretty popular. I was one of the cool kids over at Harvard Divinity School. He's interrupted by the sounds of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partly muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Tulip, come out here of there. You know you're not supposed to play in the woods. Tulip glances back into the woods, quiet as she hesitates. Tulip, are you going to be good? Or are we going to skip story time tonight? I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods, I promise. I know you won't, Tulip, because you know it's too dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you go help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed, and you can give them hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seemingly excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Sorry, I had to have a firm parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into the woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over, and it looks like it's part of the landscape. But if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mound of rusty cans and broken glass. Tulip made up some imaginary friends and keeps telling us they want her to go out there. Like the word of some fictional creatures she made up is going to convince us it's a good idea for her to play in somebody's old garbage. But she's 7, of course she would get some funny little idea like that. I'd love to get the community to rally around a big cleanup. It's about time somebody got rid of all that junk. Oh, Tetanus Lake. Stella told me about it. Tetanus Lake? That's an accurate name. I wonder if Tulip would stay away if I started calling it that. Or if it would only make it sound more alluring. What's that you were saying about imaginary friends? Oh, she's just been talking about these friends of hers lately. Little stories about creatures that live in the church. I'm sure she saw an animal in there and decided it was her friend. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, except the trash heap situation. This man is lying to you. In fact, he's been lying since the moment he mentioned these imaginary friends. Whatever his daughter has been talking to is real, and he knows it. Sounds to me like you know exactly what she's been talking to. Daniel's eyes go wide, just for a second. I don't... He does. He obviously does. He hunches his shoulders, his voice suddenly quiet. There are rats in the church. There, I said it, it's embarrassing, but she saw one at some point and she can hear them scurrying around in the walls. She's decided they're her little friends. Please, keep this between us. Don't tell Janie. I don't want her knowing the church is in such rough shape. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika and Avery walking back to the two of you. They must have finished talking to Janie. Janie says she hasn't seen Stella either, so we'd better get going. Thanks for suggesting we head up here, Malice. We got to feed the alpacas. They were so cute and soft. It was awesome. And Janie says she'll come by the diner with cookies for the miners, and a few extra for me, of course. She's so nice, she even offered to bring me some since I'm feeling under the weather. Hope your talk with the pastor went well. Yes, we had a great conversation. I appreciate you all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let you all be on your way. And I hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. All right. Thanks. See ya. Kanika and Avery start back down the path to town, and you follow. So, what was that about? He seemed pretty insistent in talking to you alone. Yeah, he didn't say anything weird, did he? Tulips apparently made some weird imaginary friends. We might want to check it out later this week. Kids make up imaginary friends all the time. Pastor Daniel says that there's a rat infestation in the church and that the rats are her friends. I don't know. It seemed weird. I should have known we'd have to deal with this spooky kid at some point. Okay, as much as I hate going back there, I guess that's a loose lead. If you don't have anything else to investigate once we've found Stella and... Kanika pauses. Once we've checked out the clinic, then maybe we can look around the church. Sounds like a plan. Let's not get too distracted until we find Stella, though. Where to next? As you consider your next steps, you remember your appointment with Sybil. She seemed to be confident last night that Stella would be okay. Maybe she'll be able to help you find her. So, now we're back on the main plot. This is where I'm going to stop for the night. Next time, we'll go talk to Sybil. See if she has anything to add after she helped us escape the haunting last night. For now, though, got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.